for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness. Believe it or not, there's some of that in this story for us today. And so the story about a man with this hard name who lived in a town called Lodebar is full of insightful instruction for us in our 21st century. It's a story within another story. The other story is King David's story. Their lives were parallel, but they intersected. They even interconnected. We'll see that more specifically next week. This portion of David's life was at the beginning of his reign as king of Israel. By now, you're probably bursting to ask, what's up with this town called Lodebar? Where is it? What makes it significant? Well, the fact is, it's only mentioned 3 times in the Bible, and they're all in this text that we read today. Amen. A word search reveals the meaning of Lodebar. If you would separate the prefix lo, the Hebrew there means not. It means no, it means non, it means nay, or never. And when you look at debar, it means to speak, to say, to talk, to tell, to utter. When you put all that together, it means nothing to speak of. That's what Loderbar means. Nothing to talk about. We say nothing to write home about either. Amen. It was a small town, a little known place in Bible times, and less known by us in our times. I doubt if any of the thousands of people who go to the Holy Land year by year, I doubt if any of them, amen. I know they all want to go to Jerusalem. I guarantee you they all go to Jerusalem, but I doubt if any of them make a request of their guide to take them to Lodebar. I doubt if any of them even ask a question about Lodebar. It was an out-of-the-way place, an insignificant place, an unknown place, an infrequented place. It was a good distance away from Jerusalem, apparently for safety. Are you walking with me? It was far enough so people wouldn't casually drop by Lodebar. People wouldn't suddenly make a trip to Lodebar. Have I got a witness here? Amen. They had to be intentionally, purposely needing to go to Lodebar. Hope the Lord let me make this plain. Now, to tell the truth, it sounds a lot like my hometown. Don't laugh too loud, because it sounds a lot like your hometown, too. Amen. A town is characteristic of the people who live there. Amen. Residents are reflections of their town. Nazareth had not been known for producing people of quality. That's why when the boys told Philip, hey, Philip, guess what? We have found the Messiah. Jesus of Nazareth. Y'all know what he said back to them? Can any good thing come out of Nazareth? You putting me on. Come on, y'all, get in the text with me. Amen. The Cretans were gluttons, and they were, I'll just call them boozers. Y'all know what that is. Brawlers. And Titus complained to Paul about his assignment, and he says, for this cause I left you in Crete. The Athenians were intellectuals. The great Acropolis sitting high behind the city, still there, one of the major tourist attractions of the day. Back in the gunslinging days of the West, there was a place called the Badlands. Say amen if you can. Amen. Amen. But before you got to the Badlands, you had to go through no man's land just to get to the Badlands. I hope I can make this plain. Amen. Who do you think lived in the Badlands? It's easy. People children on Sesame Street can figure that question out now, y'all. This ain't hard. Who do you think lived in the Badlands? Talk to me. Riffraff, outlaws, murderers, robbers. The obscurity provided them safety. Amen. Their protection was in their seclusion. The safety that they enjoyed was the distance that you had to travel to get there and the danger you would be in once you got there. Are you hearing me? Also, how far it was and how frightening it would be once you were there. Now, like the Badlands, Lodebar was characteristic of its people who didn't want to be known, didn't want to be found, didn't want to be discovered. They lived obscure lives in a place of obscurity. Mephibosheth lived there. Now that's too much name for me to be trying to pronounce while I'm preaching in rapid fire. I don't want to mispronunciate. So we're just going to call him Chef. Everybody say Chef. We'll give him a short name like we always do in our culture. We're always cutting somebody's name short. Amen. Loderbar was a physical, literal place in Bible times. The connection that it has to us is there are people in our times who are living in Lodebar. They don't live there physically. Come on. But they're living there spiritually. They are living there emotionally. Living there psychologically. Amen. They're down the street from you, but living in Lodebar. Across the street from you, but living in Lodebar. Next to you, maybe on either side, but living in Lodebar. They're within the same city limit that you're in, but living in Lodebar. They're in your church, but living in Lodebar. They're even in your ministry, but they live where? They're in your house, but living in Lodebar. Amen. They're in your family, but living in Lodebar. Amen. Somebody's husband lives in Lodebar. Somebody's wife lives in Lodebar. And when they're there, they're trying to escape something. It's a mindset. Everybody say it's a mind thing. Amen.